8.4 comparing methods. This is a practice understanding task. Remember how I told you all that there's develop, where you're introduced to a new concept, solidify, where you are working on your fluency with that concept, and then practice tasks are where you should really have a good foundation and you should be able to do these without a lot of struggle, okay? So for 8.4, solve the following equations for x using two different methods. 1, 3, 5, and 7, you're using inverse operations. 2, 4, 6, and 8, you're factoring and then solving. So let's do an example together. Let's say that we have x squared minus 16 equals 0. If we were going to do the inverse operations to solve for x, my first step would be to add 16 to both sides. I would get x squared equals 16. To isolate the x, I'm going to take the square root, and then I get x equals positive or negative 4. My guess is, if you all were doing this on your own, you probably would not remember to say that negative 4 is also a solution to x squared equals 14. But remember, 4 times 4 equals 16, and also negative 4 times negative 4 is going to give you 16 as well. So you have two answers. Your answer can be positive 4 or negative 4. If we were going to solve by factoring, we would say x squared minus 16 equals 0. My two factors would be x plus 4 and x minus 4 equals 0. Remember Unit 7 when we discussed the zero product property? If we're multiplying two things together and it's equaling 0, that means one of these two factors has to equal 0, because anything times 0 is going to give us 0. So to solve for x, we're going to set each of these factors equal to 0. So x plus 4 equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0. When we solve for this x, we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. We get that x is negative 4. We're going to add 4 to both sides for this one, and we get that x equals positive 4. So you can see that even though we solved the same problem two different ways, we still got the exact same answers, positive 4 and negative 4. Okay? So for 1 through 8, you are solving as traditional inverse operations or factoring and then solving. Keep in mind, when you're factoring, you have to have your expression or your equation equal to 0. So you're going to have to manipulate number 4 and number 8 to set it equal to 0. Otherwise, you can't factor. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Okay? Once you do that, if you have time, you can move on to the second part of the task. They suggested that this task be done in 2 parts, but my guess is the first part isn't going to take you that long. So part 2 is asking us, the following equations can be solved, only be solved using one of the two methods above. So you can either solve the equations using inverse operations or factoring. You can't use both methods. So your job is to figure out which method you can use to solve it and then solve it. And that's for numbers 9 through 17. Okay? All right. We'll go over this together tomorrow before we take, that's a lie. We will go over this task together tomorrow. Your minor on all of this is going to be on Friday. Okay? All right. Good luck.